It's so
I can
like
clap.
There's a whole bunch of collapse in the last 30 seconds.
No, Biden dropped out, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
we were talking about
Yeah, I told him, I said, we're going to have to redo our political video. So one of our guys dropped out.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to pick somebody. Who would we pick for Kamala? Somebody who just like cackles. Somebody who laughs
Somebody that
out loud.
literally
I picked
nobody
Josh
likes.
Norman because
Like,
he
come on.
got made look like a bitch.
and that's it. That's all you do.
Okay, are you accepting that this is your forecast?
Yeah,
You ready?
after 50 minutes of nothing. Yeah.
We were trying to figure out what we were doing, and you had to figure out the mic. The mic wasn't
Yeah,
working.
it's my fault.
I mean, it did take you a while to figure out the mic. That was a process.
That was a good 30 seconds. So I messed around with it.
Alright, well,
Do you want to
podcast like this.
restart? You want to restart?
no, we're good. 30 seconds. This is your forecast.
Okay. About time.
Let's do it.
About time.
You is there any news?
Oh man, we got some tiers of news here. So I'll start with
Tears
actual
as in
news.
like
I'm gonna
tears are
start
falling down
crying.
my eyes. Or
Well, depending on if you own any of these players, they could be falling out.
Okay.
First off, we'll start with Jordan Love. He will not be practicing until he gets his extension done this offseason. I mean, they both want to get it done, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. But it is something, you know.
It's going to be a weird contract, I feel.
Yeah, I was seeing like upwards of 250 million, 260. So
I would have expected more, actually.
yeah.
I would have figured they believe
that did not work out well for the Packers, though, if you think about it, because they only got 1 year on the rookie deal.
So, and I think it was his 5th-year option, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, here's what I would say is, I mean, if he's actually the guy, I think it worked out all right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
They
fine
got
with
the-
just
they got the
paying
player.
up. They
Yeah.
did the opposite of what Washington was supposed to do with Cousins. They made
Yeah.
Cousins bet on himself, and he did it twice and proved it both times. And then they said, we're not paying you. So what do you mean you're not paying the guy?
Yeah.
I called you bluff, and then you're not, I'm not paying. I don't have any money anyway.
I'm out.
I'll see you later.
After that, we have TJ Hawkinson is well ahead of schedule on his recovery from his torn ACL. He is going to start on PUP. So we'll see. I don't know what that's going to look like as far as when you come back.
I'll take anything before, like, week 5. You know
Yeah,
what
I mean, it's starting to trend that it could be, you know, just limited snaps early on in the season, but he could be there. So
Yeah.
So you might get some points out of your tight end by week 5.
that'd be all right.
That's all I know for.
Jonathan Brooks was put on the NFI list because
Play for it.
Jonathan Brooks, the Panthers, the running back.
Oh, that's right. I was
He tore his ACL last year in college, so slightly different than the PUP list, but same thing. They said that they plan on bringing him along slowly. So my question is, where are you guys at with Chuba Hubbard?
What happened to him?
What about-
He hurt too?
I mean, he would be the starting running back if
Miles
Jonathan Brooks
Sanders?
isn't ready to go.
Oh, okay.
In my opinion, I mean, Chuba took over the job for the most part down the stretch. He's who I would be most interested in. But yeah, I didn't even think about Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
We have a
I'm
soft
not
spot
concerned
for-
about it. I'm not concerned about either of them.
I always had a soft spot for Miles Sanders myself, but you probably did too. He played for the Eagles.
A little bit, but also I know how talented he isn't. So,
Yeah, I think he did a good job of showing that last year.
yeah.
Talent's not all there.
He got boosted by that Eagles line, so.
Yeah, I would say it probably doesn't matter who the starting running back is there. You're not going to be very happy with that.
Yeah.
If,
They're just going to split, probably.
Yep. Yeah, probably not worth investing into.
Yeah.
After that, the next tier is rumors.
Ooh.
Ooh, okay. We're doing some
Uh, awesome.
So,
It's
well,
gossip
sorry,
girls.
this isn't a rumor, but the Texans signed Cam Akers. However,
Okay.
Bobby Slowick was quoted saying, Joe Mixon is an absolute workhorse in every possible way.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't sound like he plans on giving anybody else any kind of work.
Yeah.
And I mean, in that Texans offense, I mean, we've been hyping up Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, C.J. Stroud, and I feel like we have kind of passed over the run game.
Yeah.
I think Joe Mixon could have a really good year.
Yeah.
What was it that you were saying a couple weeks ago that running backs, the main determination of whether they're going to score points in fantasy is whether their team that they're in is
Yep.
their offense. So
Pretty much
that
half the on a
goes
good
right
offense.
into- Workload can have potential number one for real.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
could be the number
absolutely.
one running back in that.
Yeah, he could score 16 touchdowns this year and just finish number one.
As a workhorse on a high tier offense, yeah, absolutely.
The other rumors we got going on is Javonte Williams and Samaje Perine are reportedly competing for one roster spot. I think Javonte is probably the favorite to win that roster spot, but it was interesting to me to see that that's what the shakedown was.
That's even being talked about.
Yeah. They're giving Perine a chance to take that spot.
Peyton is so much about his guys, I feel like.
Yeah.
And he wanted Perine. He's always been about that kind of thing. So it could be a lot closer than what you think as far as that goes. If it is one roster spot, I would not be surprised if it was Perine that won.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be overly surprised either. I mean, I don't think it's what's going to happen, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Before you said that, I was thinking it's more conspiracy theory than rumor. But I mean, that's so many coaches are like that. So it really shouldn't surprise me.
You guys want to know a fun Samaje Perine fact that I only know because of the college football game that just came out? He's the single game all-time leading rusher in college football history. He had like 427 rushing yards in one game when he was at Oklahoma.
What, against like Kent State or something?
Probably some nobody team. It was like a homecoming game or something. But
that's cool.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
That's it for the news, though, man. That's about all I got.
Okay. That's a boring week.
Yeah, not great, but training camp's starting to really heat up. We're starting to get some videos.
It's actually not even a boring week compared to like the last 3
Oh, yeah.
So.
It's been the most fun week for football news that we've had in 2 months, honestly. So.
Well, I mean, we can smell it in the air, though. It's starting. The news is coming.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be some things to talk about.
Yeah. You're going to want to mute your phone because the sleeper notifications are going to be ridiculous and they're going to be stupid.
Oh, I already did that. Like, wow.
You're on top of it. You muted the league notifications. Yeah. You don't want trade offers.
Don't message me at all.
That's why you didn't say nothing. Okay.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so what we're going to do now, since we don't have any news to talk about, is we're just going to go through some players and do keep trade cut. Whatever you guys
keep trade
cut.
Top, yeah. What we're going to do with these guys?
Yeah, are you going to keep them, trade them, cut them based on?
Cut them all.
Okay.
The team's too good.
So I can pick them up.
Okay.
That way, I can keep them and then trade them later.
So Jacob probably might be able to bring them up on the screen so we can know exactly what their value is right now.
Throw it up there.
There they are.
Jordan Addison. I want to know where Jordan Addison is ranked right now.
Jordan Addison is wide receiver 31 on Keep Trade Cut.
Okay. Wide receiver 31. Based on whatever's going on with him, with his DUI, and he's still drinking and posting stuff about it. He's proud of it. So, how much is that affecting you? Are you trying to trade him? What are you doing, Jacob?
I'm trading him. I'm not really trading him mostly for that because, like we've talked about with Rashee Rice, he's gonna play. They're not really gonna these guys are untouchables. But I think just in that offense, I think he's just really tradey. I don't think he's really gonna really hit that spot where he hit last year, really. So I think while he's hyped up, trade him up.
This is something you mentioned before. I don't remember which podcast, but you had said something about not wanting because of all the guys that are there.
Yeah. For a rookie quarterback. You're probably not going to actually get real investment until like 2 or 3 years from now with just JJ McCarthy. So like Jordan Addison's not going to follow along with that until probably then.
So really, by your theory, you should have probably traded him before he got a DUI.
Yes. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, normally if you know a DUI is coming, you should totally trade that guy before it happens. I fully agree with you. Trade or sell or whatever you want to call it. I think he has good name value to where you could get out for a first-round pick. You could swap him for JSN. You could get Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
Like anybody in that area where I'm more confident in this season. I know Jordan Addison is a great talent. However, I think his value is going to take a hit simply because the numbers won't be there this year, in my opinion.
I agree that he is a good player, though. He's talented.
Super talented.
So, in other words, your guys' opinion has nothing to do with the DUI.
Nope.
Well, because mine is, I don't really appreciate somebody abusing alcohol and stuff.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
get that guy out of here.
Very
I'm
humbling
gonna have to trade
response.
him.
Very humbling.
No, I think he could be like just a Brandon Cooks. He's gonna be like a wide receiver too, like Emmanuel Sanders. I think he's a good receiver, not great.
Yeah.
In fantasy, that's not worth as much as it is in real life, and I feel like he's never really going to gain value.
It's been a really long time since all three of us agree on that, on one thing.
Well, the other thing none of us even mentioned is, I mean, he can never in his entire career be the number one receiver.
Well, that's it.
Not
He's
on
on
his
his-
team.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
but like, he's probably going to go somewhere else. Most of the time, players do, right?
Right, yeah, I would assume. I don't see
Devontae
I don't
Smith,
see
T.
Minnesota
Higgins.
ever letting Jefferson leave. He's that
Yeah.
tier of player where he's going to be a lifer.
It's
But that means there's minimum 3 seasons of Jordan Addison on the
Yeah.
Vikings unless they trade him, and probably another 4 years, considering he was a first-round pick and they'd have the option on him.
yeah. Hey, Whiskey.
What's Whiskey think about it?
Yep. We got a little celeb take here.
Speak up, bud.
Okay, another guy that's in the news has been. I don't know if you mentioned him yet, Nate. Javonte Williams. Rumors.
Javonte
Yep.
Williams.
He might have been on the rumors thing. I don't know.
He made it in the rumors, yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Well, what is the rumor? You tell it first.
Well, the rumor was that him and Samaje were reportedly
Oh yeah, we already
fighting
said
for
that.
one roster spot.
Yeah. Okay.
He is currently running back 32 on Keep Trade Cut.
Hmm.
That's
That's too high for me. I'm going to trade him. I never liked him in the first place.
And he's 2% of the most traded players right now.
crazy.
Devontae.
Is that what that number means?
Yeah.
It's like 2% of
2%
all
of all
trades
trades.
on their site
That's crazy.
involve Javonte.
He's probably an easy guy to trade. I feel like, I mean, obviously he's an easy guy to trade, but he's almost to the point now where he's kind of like throwing material.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. But
I think he's approaching that too. I mean, I think at running back 32 prices, I would probably just hold on to him and just say, man, I hope he has
Wins
a
that
game or
spot.
takes the job
Yeah.
or something. Because like you said, it's probably just throwing value. But if I can find somebody who's really running back needy and I can work it into a trade that favors me somewhere else, I'm not too concerned about letting him go if that's how I get my player back.
Mhm. Yeah.
He is more name value than real value in my opinion.
Well, yeah. He has a lot of talent, and he does have name value now. And what was he, a third, fourth round pick?
You said, wait, he has a lot of talent?
Yeah, he absolutely has a lot of
I
talent.
want to say Javonte was a second round pick. He was
he?
Yeah, he
Second
was like the
round,
third
early-
or fourth
early second
overall.
round.
Why is he fighting Samaj and Udon for a roster spot if he's got
Well,
talent?
he's got a lot of injuries.
Oh yeah,
Been very
I mean, I will say he's not very good at the actual running back position to where he finds the hole. I think just like where he just doesn't go down, he goes and just hits people hard. I think there's definitely always going to be a role for him on like an offense because it's still nice to put in that change of pace back. But
Right.
I'm a big believer in Javonte. I love watching him, and that's probably my downfall because I like watching him more than he is talented. Most likely because he, like I said, you can clearly see he just doesn't know where to run. But he's good at run forward. So
If that hole is good, if that hole opens up
Yeah.
the way it's supposed to,
yeah,
then
he's good. He's,
So are you in on buying him at this price though? Would you want to add him to your team?
I would definitely buy him. It kind of depends on where your team is. If you don't need running back at all,
Yeah.
probably not a good idea to like go for him and see if he pans out because if there's just like you probably won't need him. But yeah, I would believe in him. So yeah, I would buy him cheap.
I could see him being a good buy for a contender who doesn't really have a lot of assets to trade away.
Yeah.
Like if you could find a way to swap a bench receiver to add some running back depth if you
Yeah.
needed it to improve your roster.
I feel like if I'm in that position, I would much rather go for somebody like Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
If you needed a running back,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more confident in his role for sure this season.
Yeah. That's true.
I'm not seeing any reason why anybody would trade for Javonte Williams.
Well, that's what I would say is Zeke is less gettable in my opinion. Like if I had Zeke, I'm like, oh, I found money.
Yeah.
Like I stumbled upon a running back in a Dallas offense.
Probably their value might be ranked the same, but it would be easier to pry Williams away from
Yeah.
somebody than Zeke.
I think so.
Gotcha. Okay, well, what about Zamir White, another running back?
I love Zamir White.
He's running back 20 on Keep Trade Cut. He's up 4 spots in the last 3 days.
I love him. I think he's a really talented back, and that even showed last year. So I'm not just talking out my water. But I think he like last year he ended the season well, and like he started like 3 games, and all 3 of those games he had a really good average. He had a lot of points, so I'm all in on Zamir White. I think absolutely buy him right now because he's I don't think he's going to go any cheaper than what he is right
You didn't mention the pic on Instagram. Is that what it was?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The arms?
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, before I even get into Zamir White, the football player, Zamir White, the human being, is just a massive man.
Yeah.
Like a scary individual with the size he has.
He's a big boy.
At running back 20 prices, it's tough for me to buy in. I don't like betting on the incumbent. Like, oh, you got the job because somebody else left. For me, that's just not how I like to play. But at the same time, good teams plan things out like that. So, you draft somebody knowing you're not going to pay Josh Jacobs, and now you don't have to worry about it in this offseason and compete in that running back market where there's running backs flying off the shelves everywhere.
Is he Rashad White or is he Alexander Madison? It's going to be one or the other.
Yep. It could go either way. But I do agree with Jake that he flashed talent. And more often than not, I like to bet on what I have seen. And if a player hasn't showed me that they're bad at football, I'm just going to believe that they're good. It was the same stuff with Achane last year. He started popping off. People were like, he's too small. He can't keep it up. And obviously, he's not going to average 8 yards a carry for his entire career.
Yeah.
But he's never shown me that he's bad at football. Zamir White's never shown me he's bad. So for me, he's at worst a hold. I wouldn't want to trade him away right now if I had him. I definitely want to hold on to him.
Yeah, I've really changed my perspective with running back from what you said a couple weeks ago about how the most important thing for one is how the offense does.
Right.
And that's what I'm looking at here. For one, I think he could be more something like James Robinson when he did awesome.
Right.
Because Zamir White is probably going to be on the field most of the time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that guy's going to get 90+% of snaps. He'll probably be in the top 5% of running backs for snap shares.
Yeah.
And so the only issue there with what I was saying is whether the offense is going to be good or not.
Right.
Yeah, that could be an issue with the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to what the quarterbacks do. I think O'Connell has the upside, but there is some safety in Minshew that I know that an offense can produce around him. We watched the Colts last season. I mean, Michael Pittman was a top 15 receiver at the end of the year with Minshew for almost the entirety of the year.
Yeah.
Like you said, Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor both looked excellent.
Yeah.
So as long as the Raiders can, get things together out there and get the ball to the right places, I think they could be a good team.
Yeah. So
at least better than average.
As a Zamir White lover, Raiders, you need to figure your stuff out.
Get my guy the ball. His arms are bigger than my torso.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the picture. I'll put it up on there.
Yeah, definitely put the picture up there because that'll make everybody who is like, dude, these guys are idiots. You can't buy Zamir White. You see the picture, you're going and offering for Zamir White in all of your leagues, so you're trying to get him somewhere.
Well, you're going to be looking at a picture of Brandon Ayuk, though, and saying, is that Mike Tomlin? and he just requested a trade. How much is that? I think you agree with me on this. I want to hear what Nate says first, though. How much does it matter? Like, what do you... Okay, first of all, it might actually increase his value if he gets traded. So it might not matter.
So
but
he's
how
wide
do
receiver.
you feel about it right now?
He's wide receiver 16 on Keep Trade Cut. And I don't really know how to feel because I feel like that's probably a good estimate of playing it safe for where I would rank him.
Mm-hmm.
But he is a supreme talent.
Yeah.
I mean, he dominates when he's on the field. We just talked about Zamir White. He's never shown me that he's bad at football. I have no issues with him requesting a trade because wherever he goes, he's going to be the number one. Like, they're not going to put him on a team with, Jamar Chase or something like that. There's not going to be an alpha ahead of him because he wouldn't want to go to a team with an alpha ahead of him. He's that kind of guy, I feel like. He wants the ball.
I think
I'm willing to buy in. I'm willing to buy in. Yeah, he definitely wants his money.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to buy in at wide receiver 16 because we saw him with his efficiency for the Niners last season crack the top 12. And I'm very confident that he can keep up that efficiency in that offense because everybody is efficient in that offense.
And I think the crazy part about that is he wasn't even the main focus in there. Like, obviously, Christian McCaffrey is the main focus.
Right.
And then they still do play designs for Debo. So being that, like, getting that many points and being that good in an offense that's not even geared towards you. Like, Justin Jefferson gets the ball no matter what.
Right. Yeah, he probably had 100 more targets than Brandon.
Exactly.
Legitimate.
And so for him to do that good, that's that's an extremely talented player. But after I say that, it's kind of weird for me to say that I'm selling him because I would hate for him to go to the Patriots or the Steelers, and I think those are two big guys that I would hate to see him go to either of those teams because he's not going to get those points on those teams. I would imagine.
But if he goes to the Steelers and it's Russell Wilson, I mean, is he Jerry Judy?
He's got to be better than Jerry Judy.
Well,
If
he
he
is
goes
definitely better than Jerry
If he
Judy.
goes to the
but
Steelers,
I'm talking about as far as points go.
Now Sutton did well last year with the Broncos.
Dude, you wanna hear something
not the
insane?
great, but-
Cortland Sutton didn't finish in the top 28, I think, overall, and he had 13 touchdowns. How do you score double-digit touchdowns and you can't even be a
Yeah.
wide receiver 2 for my team?
Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah.
He might be a wide receiver 2 for your team.
Yeah, for my team.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
For my team, he would be. I know that
Pittsburgh
much.
might be worst case scenario, in my opinion, for fantasy for Ayuk. I'm okay with the Panthers. I'm okay with the Patriots because I'm confident he goes there. And it's, 15 targets a week because you are everything for the offense in those spots. But I'm just not confident in Arthur Smith and the Pittsburgh passing game with Russell or Justin Fields.
I just feel like Ayuk is the opposite kind of player for Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Mr.
Unlimited.
Yeah,
Unlimited.
the time he needs a timing passer, and I just think Russell Wilson is just going to run around and wait for a guy like Cortland Sutton and eventually get open and toss it up to him.
Yeah.
That's not that he would be a better fit for George Pickens.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said for we've never seen Ayuk in a different style offense that wasn't so timing based, like you're talking about, where it really is progression. All right, scramble, throw the ball away. That's what it comes down to for them. Or where's McCaffrey?
I will
Find
say,
McCaffrey with a check down.
I will say, I think you're good with any decision you make with Brandon Ayuk. If you sell him, I think that's a good.
You're
idea.
going to get paid
if you buy him. I think but if you cut him, that's where you make a mistake.
Yeah, you definitely don't cut right.
I'm going to say bye for bringing Ayuk because I just believe in getting good players, and you already said he's one of the best.
I do agree with getting talented players.
Dude, I was sitting here arguing with Bradley and Jude about it on the way home today. Where is he ranked as the best receivers in the NFL, not fantasy? Just
as a
dude,
receiver.
I had him above. He's number 4 for me.
Wow.
I got him above Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
And so
He's definitely my top 10.
I definitely thought, just not even putting any thought into it, I say 7.
Yeah.
But when that's high enough, so.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would have any gripes with anywhere from 3 to 10, really.
Yeah.
I mean, anywhere in that range is elite.
Yeah.
That's a real player.
Definitely belongs there.
which is not T. Higgins. He's not elite.
He's really good.
He is really good, and that's really good.
You know
But
who the Eagles thought was better than Brandon Ayuk? It's Jalen Baker. We drafted him.
Doesn't feel good.
No. We could have had Ayuk at 31.
You could have had T. Higgins at like 33.
Well, that was like a year later. But,
You could have Jefferson the year after that.
well, no, it was the
Jalen
same
Baker
year.
was that year. It was,
Oh, right, yes.
They drafted Justin Jefferson.
Oh, man, that's just
So
yeah,
they're-
T. Higgins, wide receiver
Never-
24 right now.
I don't think I've ever heard your opinion about them taking Jalen Reagor and Justin Jefferson. Maybe you should share it with us.
I texted you literally as soon as it happened.
Oh, yeah?
I said, they're stupid.
Every
Maybe
Eagles
never
fan
t-
on the planet knew
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Like,
I was
like,
being sarcastic. You say that like I
I'll say
probably
it all the
for
time.
what's that?
I'll say it all the time now. Continue to do it.
That's why I'm asking you. You should probably
I
go through it again.
I don't
This
need
is
to.
your,
Everybody knows it. Everybody knows.
we're listening.
Everybody knew, will always have known that Rager was not going to be.
Was it worth screwing up my good transition into T. Higgins?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, as long as he's that was very confident
I'll
answer.
do it again.
That's Trump. Just give an answer confidently,
Yep.
and everybody believes you.
Crowd goes wild.
It's not like people need to believe that.
Yeah, people know that. People know
People
Jalen Rager is awful.
Yeah.
That's not news. That
Justin
didn't even make
Jefferson-
my news.
Justin Jefferson caught 4 touchdowns in the championship game, and we're like, yeah, Jalen Rager's fast. Screw you. Well, about Howie Roseman, he's great. Go ahead with your
You
trade.
got him started.
No, I mean, just I'm like, here,
Just let it out, man. Let it out.
Yeah.
Like you have to. Everybody has to.
Dude, if there's anybody here that has anything to complain about their team, it's not either one of us.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be this guy over here. Washington, not
He
getting
can't even wear his own jersey.
That's what I'm saying, man. We don't have good enough players for me to be like, you know what? I should wear a different jersey today. It's like, no. Mike Evans is the guy.
He is a good guy to root for, though.
Oh, it's great.
Dude, if he wasn't in the NFL, I feel like he would be a gangster.
Okay.
He's cool. He's a cool guy.
Why you say that? Because he has face tattoos?
That's part of it.
Does he?
He's got some
He's
neck
all
tats.
just-
Yeah, I mean, he's covered from
Yeah.
neck down.
But I just don't see anybody messing with him.
He's a big
He's
dude.
a big guy.
Huge dude. So much fun to watch with Johnny Manziel in college. Texas A&M.
Dude, insane. Johnny Manziel would not have won the Heisman without him.
Crazy. Craziness.
Johnny football. Okay, so T. Higgins.
Wide receiver
Good
24 on Keep Trade Cut.
Okay, wide
Transition,
receiver.
bro.
Dude, I had a good one.
That one works too.
Yeah, it looks alright.
Okay, T. Higgins.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, here's my opinion about it because I didn't start with any of the other ones. I feel like it's gonna be a hamstring this week, a calf next
Poor
week,
guy.
a groin the week. I think this is gonna be a contract year for him, where I'm not risking myself getting hurt.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to be out. I think on him because he doesn't seem like he wants to play. He feels bitter right now, and
It's tough to make a decision on contract year guys because the other side of the argument is he wants to get paid.
Yeah.
So he wants the ball. Like he's gonna, I mean, squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? That's the saying. So
I've never heard that, but it makes sense.
that's a Stephon Diggs special right there. I don't get the ball enough, and then the next week, 15 targets.
Mm.
And now obviously T. Higgins is never going to get the majority of the target share on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
I'm willing to buy in on him at wide receiver 24 because if he signs anywhere next offseason where he is the number one, he's going to be at least there, in my opinion.
Mm.
He'll only be 26 years old, I believe, next year. So I think there's enough value there to resell at some point. But I do agree with you, what you said about the injuries. If he gets hurt at all, like he's going to milk it. 100%. And he's an injury-prone player. So the safe decision probably is to trade him away right now.
Yeah.
Because if you can swap him for somebody that you're confident that, wants to play this season, it's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah. I'm saying sayonara. He's gone. He's gone from my team. If I had him, I've never really had him before, but I don't really like him as a player. I think he will just always be a number two. I don't think he'll ever reach that threshold of being a number one, like clear dominant guy. Like I feel like he had 1 year where he was almost top 10 or something. I just think that's going to be.
Yeah, I think he finished 11 was his high.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be his highest, and I don't think he's going to get any better. I don't think even if he goes to an offense that needs him, I don't see it. I don't know, maybe it's just a gut thing, but
I can see that. He never looks wide open or anything.
No, he reminds me a lot of Pickens. Like that's how he wins.
yeah,
Down the sideline.
Positioning.
Yep, position
Which,
himself.
honestly, though, he's got the right quarterback for that
Yeah,
style.
Joe slings it.
absolutely.
And I mean, we see the numbers he puts up when Jamar Chase is out. He does step up. He takes that step up. So that's always nice to have a guy that can level up like that. There's other wide receiver twos around the league that you don't get that from.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year with the Chargers, everybody wanted Josh Palmer to be able to step up and really, really be the guy as the number one, and it just didn't really happen.
Yeah.
But obviously, lost Herbert too.
Definitely didn't put up the kind of numbers that T. Higgins did when that was the year where he was wide receiver 11.
Yep.
And he was only playing without Jamar Chase probably half the season.
Yeah.
If you probably just took those games, he was probably way higher than that.
I will say,
In the games that he was when Jamar Chase wasn't there.
Yeah, I agree that his ceiling consistently is going to be like 11 to 15. I don't see many years where he's going to crack the top 10. He probably won't ever do it again, in my opinion. But I think he can sit in that 12 to 24 range for a few years and be a very comfortable wide receiver too.
They still help your team out, so
That's kind of what I was saying with Jordan Addison. I just think that's kind of where they're at.
Yeah, they're
And
stuck
those-
in that spot.
And there's nothing wrong with those guys, but they're not going to gain value, and they're never going to be a guy that you can turn a profitable.
They have to fit your team. Like you have to have a purpose for having them on your team.
Yeah.